updated video and walkthrough of Crawler Space RC LLC. We figured it's been a couple years and we've expanded inventory. Some stuff is still the same, like our dog, who is the greeter for the store. But we have changed some things around. That pop machine doesn't work for example. And YouTube, these are all toys, replicas, are not meant to, cannot be made to fire any live ammunition of any kind. They're airsoft. But we've expanded our inventory and our field of products we carry. And we're running low on stuff, I see. As you guys might have known from the last, or seen from the last video, this was full of mini Zs. Well, we don't get that big of a call for them anymore, so we've eased up and primarily carry parts. We do have some different things for the airsoft replicas, of course. Some different gear, random stuff of that caliber. And then our axial wall, of course, is still full of axial parts. We've got some used stuff in boxes and some old discontinued stuff and some spare stuff. Our used display case has got some of our 3D printed goods in there, because now we carry 3D printed goods. We have a 3D printer. Still throw some RCs in there every now and again, but you'll see as we push through the shop, things have changed a little bit around here. We've got a display table up here. Remember, that truck was in the used display case 2 years ago in that video. Some of our own personal collectibles. Just some really cool figures that we've collected over the years, and Funko Pops and things of that nature, gifts from the wife. And then FJ's, of course, up top there. And then we've got some more Mini Z stuff over here, our Red Cat parts. We're running low on batteries and chargers at the moment, but that always ebbs and flows. We get a bunch of them in, a bunch of them go right back out the door. And then here we've got less of the crawler stuff specifically and more of a little bit of everything. So we've got the high-end drift servos and gyros. And then we've got motor ESCs. Still a lot of stuff for our crawler guys, of course. And then our servos up here and motors and ESCs. And we've switched over primarily to FlySky as our radios in store. We do still have some Spectrum receivers down in there, but just don't carry as many Spectrum radios. And then back here has changed quite dramatically. That was full of crawler tires and wheels. Crawler wheels. Those have moved over there. And then our big shelves full of Red Cat has moved over there. So now we have all our Red Cat trucks next to our Axial and Vanquish trucks and kits. And those are coming and going all the time. Out of SCX 24s at the moment, but we've got orders in for that stuff as well, of course. But we do have a bunch of the Red Cat 18 scale rigs in. And their monster truck, looks like we've got one of those. Still got a couple of those models from back in the day, 2 years ago. Some of our mini truck parts there. And then we've expanded upon our fast eddy bearing sets and hardware. We've gotten more of that stuff and a broader selection of tools. So we just tried to bring our customers a little bit extra, a little bit more. We're still the biggest Vanquish in-store carrier of parts for the crawler guys here. A lot of this stuff is the axle housings, the gear sets, the what have yous, knuckles, bearings, all that stuff. So we still carry a ton of that. And we, of course, got a few of our own display rigs up there. And then our bodies. We have a little bit of everything for bodies. We even got an infraction body down there, the NASCAR body. Sticker sets for drift car bodies. Got some of our scale bobbles over there, Red Cat accessories, more Vanquish stuff. And then some of our drift car stuff. What's that? Yeah, drift car stuff. So we got Kyosho, Yokomo, Yeah Racing, One Up Racing. There's just a bunch of them top line. So yeah, and then we've expanded and added this little shelf. So now this shelf is full of MST stock parts and some other stuff. And then our electronics wall also has expanded from just having plugs and wires to now having all the chassis components, well, a lot of the chassis components for the MST drift cars. That's our primary car we carry, because a lot of the higher end cars, it doesn't seem to be as popular. But if it does get more popular, we'll carry them. And then of course we've got a couple of our kits up there and a killer body. Now we've got a couple of RTR MSTs there and a couple of Kyosho, the Tundra. Then we got an HPI all-wheel drive car. That's not an indoor drift car, of course. And then primarily we carry Fly Sky radios. Those seem to be our best sellers, so that's what we try and keep for our customers in stock. We try and keep each one of their variants of radios in, just so guys have options from the cheaper radios to the more expensive radios, of course. Still a quality radio. Best radio on the market, in my opinion. Argue with me in the comments. Let's see who's right. Let's see how many people vote your way and how many people vote mine. We carry more Red Cat vehicles than we used to, just because they've become so much more popular. They've just been a really solid brand out there on the market. They've gained in popularity and their prices are phenomenal. Their quality is really good. Again, argue with me in the comments if you disagree. And then, as you guys may remember, there used to be a Mini Z track back here. That, of course, has moved on. We have a local racetrack that's taken on that. So now he's providing track space for those guys and pit area where I didn't have quite the room for it. But now we have a mini crawler course or 3 back here. So we've gained a whole bunch of other reason to purpose this room a little differently. And then there's some of our more of our RCs hanging out back there. And again, YouTube, these are all toys. There's nothing here that can be made to fire a live firearm, or live round rather. Toys. YouTube, boy, oof. And then here's a charging station that we use and a workstation. There's a truck there I'll lead you into more of explanation down the road here in a minute. And then here's a friend of ours' workstation we let come in and hang out, or we have come in and hang out, or we get lucky enough that he comes in to hang out with our intolerable butts. But yeah, that's for Dean's spot and his little trucks and my little trucks. And then the reason why we have that, I have that, 3D printed that myself, is because of these. So I am 52 years old this year, so this is from my childhood. Obviously they were 3 1/4 inch, and I've moved into the bigger figures, but now I'm old enough to where I've got adult money. I can collect them and leave them in the package. I know, some people say it's a waste. I don't care. And then of course we've got our transformers and more airsoft stuff there, and then got stacks of them still in the box down there that I got to get out. Some of them I'm going to get out for display. And then, as you guys may have remembered from the last video, the last walkthrough anyway, we had a crawler course back here that took up all kinds of the space that we had open. Well, now we drift on the weekends. So now we have a drift track back here, and all the buildings light up, of course. There used to be a parking garage right there. That's why that garage was in that corner. That's moved since the track changed. And we alternate the track. I'm going to probably do it 2 or 3 times a year. And then you guys may have remembered this was my storage room last time. We've added that table there for a pit area, but now this turned into a pit area for guys, so when they come in, they have somewhere to hang out. And we've got a couch for their wives, girlfriends, kids. So yeah, we've expanded into drifting. So now we're crawler drift space. Not really, still crawler space. Not changing the name. Got too much legal documentation that took too long to acquire. And then what we did was we decided to dabble in this as well. Now I'm 3D printing stuff for me, the hobby shop, the wife, all the time. All kinds of cool little stuff. Those are cages for drift cars. And then I've got my own X-Max and XRT and Summit. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if you're in the Cutlerville area near 68th Street on Division, we are located at 6566 Division Avenue South. Stop on down, see us, check us out. Give us a call sometimes on Saturdays, which is what today is. We do drifting after 5 o'clock in the evening. So, all right, boys and girls, thanks for stopping by and checking out our quick 10-minute video. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.